1973, actor Anthony Hopkins was preparing for his next movie role in The Girl from Petrovka. This film was an adaptation of a novel by George Pfeiffer. Hopkins wanted to thoroughly understand the story, so he decided to track down a copy of the original book before stepping into his role. He embarked on a lengthy and ultimately fruitless search through London's bookstores, spending an entire day trying to find it. In each shop, he was told the same thing. The book was out of print, and no copies could be found. After his failed attempt, Hopkins took the subway to head home. While riding, he noticed someone who quickly exited the train, leaving an item behind on the seat. Curious, Hopkins picked up the forgotten object and, to his amazement, saw that it was a copy of The Girl from Petrovka. This coincidence would already be remarkable on its own, but months later, after the film's release, Hopkins met the novel's author and recounted the story of how he had come across the book. The author was stunned and said he believed that particular book was his own. He had lent it to a friend a few months earlier, and that friend had misplaced it on the subway. What were the odds of that happening in such a specific manner? Strange events like this one occur every day, and many are equally fascinating. You've likely experienced unusual coincidences in your own life. Maybe you thought of someone, and they called you moments later. Perhaps you were considering a trip to a certain place and then stumbled upon a travel guide to that destination, or someone brought it up in conversation. Maybe you had a dream that eventually played out in reality. So what's going on? Are these events just random coincidences, or is something more significant at work? Often such remarkable coincidences carry deep meaning for those who witness them, creating a strong and sometimes mystical feeling, as if the universe is trying to communicate something to us. Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav Jung personally explored this idea and referred to them as synchronicities, making this observation. What I discovered when thoroughly investigating this phenomenon were coincidences so significantly connected that the likelihood of their random occurrence would have to be expressed in astronomical terms. Jung delved into how seemingly random events might hold a deeper, more transcendental significance, suggesting a connection between our minds and the universe itself. He theorized that our inner consciousness and the outer world are linked in ways that defy the usual cause and effect logic. In today's video, we will examine the concept of synchronicities and highlight 5 different types you might encounter. By learning to recognize them and decipher their hidden meanings, we can align ourselves with the flow of the universe and our higher self, drawing what we desire into our lives in harmony. Let's get started. Synchronicities matter because they provide personal evidence that reality is occasionally fluid, unstable, and responsive to our consciousness. As Albert Einstein put it, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Synchronicities show that our world can behave like a shared dream or a simulation, rather than a completely independent physical entity. Quantum physics has revealed that metaphysical factors ultimately drive physical events. Observing something actually shapes the existence of matter. The material universe forms through consciousness, and synchronicities directly reflect this truth. Now, let's explore the different types of synchronicities we might experience, so we can easily recognize them when they happen. These occur just before a significant or stressful event in our lives, often when we're facing an important decision that could change our future. This can create chaotic energy in our current timeline, making our reality feel unstable. When the future is unclear and we're considering several options, multiple alternative timelines emerge as possibilities. Even what seems like a small choice can result in enormous, sometimes irreversible changes in our lives. Synchronicities can show up as warnings to prevent us from choosing a potentially negative timeline. For instance, imagine you're thinking about buying a house that seems like a great deal. The price is low and the location is perfect. You're ready to finalize the deal when your car breaks down, forcing you to take a taxi. On the way, you witness an accident that delays you further. When you finally arrive at the bank across from the house, you notice the police at the neighboring home. These events make you rethink your decision, and you decide against buying the house. Later, you find out that the neighbors are problematic and would have made your life difficult. If your car had worked and you hadn't seen the police, you might have made a rushed decision that you would regret. This example illustrates how synchronicities can unexpectedly influence our choices. Confirmation synchronicities often appear at crucial moments of spiritual growth or personal transformation. Unlike warnings, these synchronicities confirm we're on the right track or guide us toward the right choice, acting like a compass leading us to growth and the expansion of our being. When opportunities for growth present themselves, a positive timeline emerges. These timelines are powerful because they attract our true essence, leading us to live in harmony with our authentic self and life purpose. However, disconnection from our essence or fears dominated by ego can cause us to overlook or ignore these opportunities. Synchronicities may arise to prompt us to reconsider these chances or give us the push needed to embrace the positive timeline. They can also appear as confirmation that we've made the right choice. These synchronicities often feel magical and carry intimate meaning that only we can fully grasp. For example, you may have been thinking about starting a project that excites and scares you. Finally, you take the leap, investing time and money in something essential for the project. Though nervous, you go to the park for some fresh air. As you sit quietly, 2 brightly colored butterflies land on your hands. Just then, you overhear 2 strangers talking, and one says, "You did the right thing." You interpret this as a sign confirming you're on the right path, leaving you filled with joy and connection to the universe. Prophetic synchronicities, or omens, are symbolic messages that come at significant moments. These signs might appear unexpectedly, like recurring numbers that hold meaning for you, or meaningful dreams with relevant messages for the present time. They might confirm recent decisions or warn of potential dangers, but they're not always obvious. Decoding these messages is like interpreting dream symbols. It requires attention to detail and the surrounding circumstances. By keeping track of these experiences, we can begin to understand their meaning and how they influence our lives. These synchronicities suggest a connection between the dream world and reality, showing how both are influenced by our consciousness. Manifestation synchronicity happens when something you think about or desire manifests physically. For example, thinking of someone you haven't seen in a while, then bumping into them the next day, or needing something and finding it across the street. Was this a premonition? Did your mind foresee a future event, or did your thought cause it? Both are valid possibilities. When our thoughts directly affect reality, we're experiencing manifestation synchronicity. In these cases, our thoughts create future events through our subconscious, reflecting back in reality. This aligns with the law of attraction. Interestingly, this synchronicity can even affect the past. For example, the person who left the object you needed may have made that decision before you needed it, as though your present decision influenced the past to match your current need. This might seem impossible, but it's consistent with quantum physics, which shows that present choices can affect past quantum processes. This suggests that both the past and future are influenced by our consciousness in the present. Opportunity synchronicities occur when preparation and opportunity perfectly align. These synchronicities often help us advance our personal story, offering solutions or opening new paths. They may seem unlikely, but they fit seamlessly into our lives, as if part of a preordained plan. The defining feature of these synchronicities is the sense of joy and relief they bring. Everything aligns naturally, without resistance, creating harmony in our lives. After exploring these types of synchronicity, let's discuss how we can invite them into our daily lives. The first step is to develop sensitive awareness, paying close attention to the small details of our daily lives. We must notice recurring themes in conversations or symbols that keep appearing, as these could be synchronicities trying to communicate with us. Keeping a journal is another helpful tool. Recording coincidences and strange patterns can reveal hidden connections. This journal isn't just about documenting events, but reflecting on their deeper meanings. What if we go a long time without experiencing synchronicities? It might mean we're stuck in a predictable routine, or it could indicate we're so connected to our higher self that we no longer need external signs. The best way to unlock synchronicities is to step out of our comfort zone and embrace new experiences. This requires a sense of wonder and awe toward reality, along with introspection and reflection on our dreams. We should also work on distinguishing between impulses driven by societal programming and those arising from our spiritual core. The more we follow our spiritual intuition, the more likely we are to encounter synchronicities guiding us along a positive path. In conclusion, synchronicity reminds us that our thoughts, feelings, and experiences are deeply intertwined with the universe. By being aware of these signals, we can align ourselves with the flow of the universe, allowing synchronicity to guide us in making important life decisions.